October 4th, 2011, 4 a.m. A father walks through his front door after a late shift at work. The house feels wrong. Lights blazing in every room. A window standing open in the cool autumn night. He walks upstairs to check on his 10-month-old daughter, Lisa. Her crib is empty. What happened in those hours between midnight and dawn would become one of America's most baffling missing child cases. A case where nothing makes sense, where every answer creates 10 new questions, where a baby girl simply vanished. This is the story of baby Lisa Irwin, and 13 years later, we still don't know what happened to her. To understand this mystery, we need to go back to October 3rd, 2011. Kansas City, Missouri, a quiet residential neighborhood where families knew each other, where kids played in yards, where nothing terrible was supposed to happen. The Irwin family lived in a modest home on North Lister Avenue. Jeremy Irwin, the father, worked as an electrician. Deborah Bradley, the mother, stayed home with their children. Baby Lisa was their youngest, just 10 months old, with bright blue eyes and wispy blonde hair. October 3rd seemed like any other day. Jeremy left for work that evening around 5:45 p.m. It was a night shift job and he wouldn't return until early morning. Deborah was home with Lisa and her 2 older sons from a previous relationship. According to Deborah, she put the boys to bed around 7:30 p.m., then put Lisa down in her crib around 10:30 p.m. after one final check. That was the last time anyone would definitively see baby Lisa. Jeremy Irwin arrived home at approximately 3:45 a.m. on October 4th. Immediately, something felt off. Lights were on throughout the house, unusual since Deborah typically turned them off. The front door was unlocked when it should have been secured. And then he noticed the window. The window to the computer room was open, its screen pushed aside. Jeremy's heart began to race. He went upstairs, checked the boys' room. They were sleeping soundly. Then he went to Lisa's room. The crib was empty. Jeremy frantically searched the house, calling for Deborah, who was asleep in their bedroom. Together they tore through every room, every closet, every possible hiding place. Nothing. At 3:57 a.m., Jeremy called 911. "Our baby is gone," he told the dispatcher. "Someone took our baby." But as police arrived and began their investigation, they discovered something else was missing. 3 cell phones belonging to both parents had been taken from the home. The family's kitten was also gone. What kind of kidnapper steals cell phones and a kitten? Within hours, the Kansas City Police Department launched a massive search operation. Officers combed through the neighborhood. The FBI was called in. Search and rescue teams deployed. Volunteers from across the city showed up to help look for baby Lisa. They searched nearby wooded areas, dumpsters, drainage ditches, abandoned buildings. Police helicopters circled overhead with thermal imaging cameras. Divers searched local ponds and waterways. Bloodhounds tracked scents from the home. But there was no sign of baby Lisa. No witnesses, no surveillance footage, nothing. As the investigation intensified, police began to focus on what they called inconsistencies in the parents' statements, particularly Deborah Bradley's. In initial interviews, Deborah said she last saw Lisa at 10:30 p.m. when she put her to bed. But later, during a national television interview, she changed her timeline. She admitted she had actually last checked on Lisa around 6:40 p.m., nearly 4 hours earlier than initially stated. She also admitted she'd been drinking that evening. She said she'd purchased a box of wine and had consumed several glasses while sitting on the front stoop with a neighbor. She described herself as drunk. Drunk enough that she passed out and didn't hear anything unusual during the night. Police found this concerning. A 4-hour discrepancy, being too intoxicated to hear an intruder? These revelations shifted the investigation's focus. Then came the cadaver dogs. Multiple cadaver dogs, specially trained to detect the scent of human remains, alerted to Deborah's bedroom. According to investigators, the dogs showed interest in the floor near the bed. This was significant. Cadaver dogs typically only alert when they detect decomposition. Police also discovered that a neighbor's surveillance camera had captured footage of a man walking down the street at 20:15 a.m., carrying what appeared to be a baby wearing only a diaper. The figure moved through the shadows, then disappeared. Was this Lisa, or just a tragic coincidence of timing? Investigators tried to track down this mysterious figure but came up empty. The person was never identified. Meanwhile, the media circus descended. National news trucks lined the street. Nancy Grace covered the case extensively. The comparisons to Kaylee Anthony began immediately. Another missing child. Another mother whose story changed. Another media frenzy. Deborah and Jeremy appeared on multiple national television programs, pleading for their daughter's return. But as Deborah's timeline changed and details emerged about her drinking, public opinion turned harsh. Internet sleuths dissected every interview, every facial expression, every word. The parents maintained their innocence. They insisted someone had broken into their home and taken their baby. But investigators clearly had doubts. As weeks turned into months, the case generated hundreds of tips. People across the country reported sightings of baby Lisa. Each lead had to be investigated. Each sighting had to be checked. A woman in New Jersey claimed she'd seen a man with a baby matching Lisa's description. The FBI investigated. Nothing came of it. A girl fitting Lisa's description was reportedly spotted at an orphanage in Brazil. International authorities checked it wasn't her. A woman in New Hampshire reported seeing a child who looked like Lisa. Investigators followed up another dead end. Every false lead was heartbreaking. Every investigation that went nowhere deepened the mystery. One of the most compelling theories centered on the stolen cell phones. Why would someone kidnapping a baby take the time to steal 3 cell phones? Investigators theorized that the kidnapper took the phones to prevent the parents from immediately calling for help, buying crucial time to escape. But that night, one of the stolen phones was used to call a woman named Megan Wright. Police tracked down Wright and questioned her extensively. She denied any involvement and said she didn't know who had called her or why. She passed a lie detector test. Her boyfriend at the time, Dane Greathouse, also became a person of interest but was eventually cleared. The phone trail went cold. Then there were the neighborhood leads. Multiple neighbors reported seeing a man carrying a baby that night. A witness described seeing someone walking quickly down the street around midnight. Another reported a suspicious person in the area earlier that evening. One neighbor came forward with particularly disturbing information. She claimed she'd seen a man walking past her house around 4 a.m. carrying a baby that appeared lifeless. The man, she said, looked suspicious and was moving quickly. She assumed it was a father taking his sick child somewhere and didn't call police until she heard about Lisa's disappearance. By then, whoever it was had vanished. Police created a composite sketch based on witness descriptions, but the man was never identified. To this day, no one knows who these witnesses saw, if they saw anyone at all, or if it was baby Lisa they were seeing. As the investigation continued, family tensions reached a breaking point. Deborah and Jeremy stopped cooperating fully with police. They hired attorneys. They refused repeated requests for additional interviews and declined to take lie detector tests. Police publicly stated they believed the parents knew more than they were saying, particularly Deborah. The police captain at one point told the media that Deborah had failed a lie detector test, though the family disputed this characterization. The parents, meanwhile, accused police of tunnel vision, of focusing exclusively on them while the real kidnapper remained free. They insisted they were being railroaded, that their grief was being twisted into guilt. The case became adversarial. Sides were taken, and baby Lisa remained missing. In November 2011, more disturbing evidence emerged. Cadaver dogs alerted not just in the bedroom, but along the path from the bedroom to the front door. The implication was chilling. But here's the thing about cadaver dogs. They're not infallible. They can alert to decomposition, but also to certain chemicals, substances, even some food items. An alert is not proof. It's an indication that requires follow-up. No physical evidence of harm was ever found. No blood. No signs of violence in the home. No body. Just alerts from dogs, conflicting statements, and a missing baby. 13 years later, baby Lisa Irwin is still missing. The case remains open and active, though leads have dwindled to almost nothing. So what happened that night? There are essentially 3 main theories that investigators and true crime analysts have focused on. Theory 1. Abduction by a stranger. This is what the parents have maintained from the beginning. Someone broke into their home through the open window. Or perhaps the window was open from inside. After entry took baby Lisa and vanished into the night. Supporting this theory, the stolen cell phones suggest an intruder. Multiple witnesses reported seeing a man with a baby that night. The timing could work if someone had been watching the house, knew the father was at work, and saw an opportunity. Against this theory, there was no sign of forced entry. Nothing else of value was taken. How would a stranger know which room the baby was in? Why risk entering a home with multiple people inside? And statistically, stranger abductions of infants from homes are extraordinarily rare. Theory 2. Someone the family knew. Perhaps someone in the parents' social circle. A friend, neighbor, or acquaintance took Lisa. Someone who knew the family's routine, knew Jeremy worked nights, knew where Lisa slept. Supporting this theory, the phone call to Megan Wright suggests possible connections to people in their orbit. No forced entry suggests familiarity with the home. The person seen carrying a baby might have been someone the family knew. Against this theory, extensive investigation of everyone connected to the family turned up nothing concrete. No one with both motive and opportunity was ever identified. And why would someone the family knew take the cell phones? Theory 3. Something happened in the home. This is what many investigators have come to suspect, though they've never had enough evidence to prove it. In this scenario, something happened to Lisa in accident. Perhaps the abduction was staged to cover it up. Supporting this theory, the cadaver dog alerts, the changing timeline, the admitted heavy drinking, the parents' eventual refusal to cooperate fully with police, the window being opened from inside rather than broken from outside. Against this theory, there's no physical evidence that Lisa died in that home. No body has been found despite extensive searches. Both parents have maintained their innocence consistently, and staging such an elaborate cover-up while managing other children and dealing with police seems incredibly difficult. The truth is, we don't know. Each theory has problems. Each theory requires accepting things that don't quite fit. In the years since Lisa's disappearance, age progression photos have been released, showing what she might look like now. She would be 14 years old, today a teenager. She could be in high school. She could be living an entirely different life, not knowing her true identity. Deborah and Jeremy have mostly retreated from public view. They've given occasional interviews over the years, still maintaining their innocence, still hoping for answers. The other children have grown up without their baby sister. The Kansas City Police Department still lists the case as open and active. They continue to follow up on any credible tips, though those have become increasingly rare. The FBI considers it one of their most frustrating unsolved cases. There have been occasional developments. In 2016, there was renewed interest when someone claimed to have information about a basement where Lisa might have been hidden. It led nowhere. In 2020, DNA from an unidentified child found in another state was tested against the family, not a match. Every few years, someone comes forward with a new theory, a new sighting, a new possibility. Each time, investigators follow up. Each time, they come up empty. The case has gone cold, but it's not forgotten. What makes baby Lisa's disappearance so haunting is the absence of resolution. There's no closure, no answers, just an empty crib and hundreds of unanswered questions. Did someone take her? Is she alive somewhere, being raised by another family? Did something terrible happen that night that we'll never fully understand? We may never know. If you have any information about the disappearance of baby Lisa Irwin, please contact the Kansas City Police Department's TIPS hotline at 816-474-TIPS. Even the smallest detail could be the key to solving this mystery. Somewhere out there, answers exist. Someone knows what happened that October night in 2011, and a family is still waiting to bring their daughter home. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share this video to help keep baby Lisa's case in the public eye. Justice delayed doesn't have to mean justice denied.